Good morning and welcome to Cuyahoga County's Community Development Committee meeting. Today is Monday, October 7th, and we're in the C.L.N. Conley Council Chambers. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Mr. Jones. Ms. Simon. Simon is absent. Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly is absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Have we had a chance to review the minutes, and can we vote for approval of said minutes?
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the minutes are approved and we can move forward. Is there any public comment, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Chair, no one has signed in.
Okay, let us begin the matters that have been referred to this committee.
Resolution 2024-0307, awarding a total sum not to exceed $20,000 to Smart Development Incorporated for the Community First program from the District 3 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Is there someone present to describe the application for us this morning? If you would approach the podium, thank you, and give us your name, your role with the organization, and begin your presentation.
Hello, good morning. My name is Malak Rashid. I am the Development Director at Smart Development Incorporated, or Smart Development. We have been a nonprofit serving Cuyahoga County since 2016 with a broader goal to enhance the social safety net and expansion of opportunities for at-need families to grow roots and lead toward pathways of self-sufficiency. The request that has been presented to County Council is for the Community First program, which is our pillar program that provides total quality of life programming to families and individuals in Cuyahoga County. While we serve all individuals in need, regardless of income, background, or where in Cuyahoga County they reside, we do also have enhanced services for individuals with language needs who speak other languages other than English, who are also of newcomer, refugee, and immigrant backgrounds as well, to provide a cultural competency lens into the services that they need. We host monthly donation drives that we partner with other retail partners where we purchase at a lower cost items that families most often cannot afford on their own, or that would be a barrier if they were spending their own money towards this and cause other hardships in their life, such as clothing, baby items like formula, diapers, even appliances, because we are starting to see that landlords across Cuyahoga County are not even providing basic necessities such as refrigerators and stoves when people move into relocating into a new home. So thankfully, due to our partnerships with Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, and other wonderful retailers in the area, we're able to really provide and serve at least 500 to 600 families on a monthly basis. We do our donation drives in various parts of the city, so we meet families where they are, especially if they have a lack of transportation at home. They're able to access these items. We also do have a facility on West 140th Street where we do serve individual families and clients in person, where we're able to provide them case management. So we're really identifying the needs that they have when it comes to housing, health, and additional social services. We make the appropriate referrals and connections. We are also providing hands-on assistance with applying for public benefits, things like PIP and HEAP, and other resources that we find and help them navigate otherwise that they wouldn't know how to, especially with as new resources become available with partners, we're helping them fill out the appropriate applications and documents. We also, on a second hand, also support a lot of support to youth. So we do a lot of mentorship and help provide individuals opportunities to find workforce and training. We work really closely with Ohio Means Jobs to help lessen that barrier to access things like the WIOA dollars that still do exist, and really get people connected to meet them where they are, because we know many individuals have various different needs and options. The request will go to support that side of our program, especially the basic needs and the community navigation that we provide. And annually, on average, especially post-pandemic, we've been serving increasingly more individuals, with last year serving just a little over 4,000. And these are unique individuals, unduplicated, oftentimes from various different households and backgrounds, as I mentioned. The biggest need that we're seeing continuously now as we're approaching winter is the continued basic needs and donations that people require. We recently hosted, actually, at the Cuyahoga County Welcome Center in August, a back-to-school drive and distributed 1,500 backpacks, school supply kits, free hot meals, and also toys to individuals. You know, these requests we do take in from the community to see what their needs are, and we're seeing a lot of requests come in to prepare for winter. So hopefully the funding will go towards to support all of the donations we need to gather and purchase to help families through the winter.
Do either of my colleagues have questions?
Do.
Mr. President?
Thank you. Where are you located?
We are at 3538 West 140th Street, so I'm really bad with directions, but we're really close to La Plaza, so we're kind of on West 140th from, if you're going upwards from Lakewood Heights Boulevard.
And how long has Smart Development been in existence?
Since 2016. It came out of the founder, Mustafa Abed, came out of a need where he himself is from an immigrant family, and he felt that there was a need, especially in the area of basic needs donations and really helping families get on their feet if they otherwise can't find it. So it started from there, and I had joined as the development director in 2018.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions, I move that we approve this and refer it to full council. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing no opposition, Madam Clerk, this moves forward to the full council. Ms. Rashid, this process takes 3 readings before council. And so on your way out the door, one of our staff will tell you the remaining process, what has to happen, and when you'll be able to apply to draw down funds. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Resolution 2024-0346, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to the Beat Buzz Baseball League for new baseball equipment from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
If we have someone here to represent this organization, when you arrive at the podium, please state your name and your role with the organization.
Good morning. My name is Wendell Fields, and I am the Executive Director of the B-Buzz Baseball League. B-Buzz started in 1958, so there's a lot of successful men who came out of this program. And 12 years ago, we decided to bring it back. We knew what we gained growing up, the mentorship, the sportsmanship, friendships, and all the things that we gained to become who we are today. And we decided to bring it back. And so we started with 16 kids, and it's been rough, but we are now up to about 198 kids. One of the things that we decided to do to make B-Buzz stronger was also become a 501c3, but also bring on other resources. Our kids today need a little bit more help than what we did when we were younger. So we brought on Al Grimes in the Fatherhood Initiative Program as a way to help the fathers become better fathers, to help influence their children. We brought on the Cuyahoga County Library System, so kids are involved in the summer reading program. We have anti-bullying program because we know how bad kids get when they want to pick with each other. One of the things that really stood out was bringing the families together. Sometimes you can bring the kids home, bring them out to the field and then get them home, and things aren't as happy. So we have a mental health program. We have a substance abuse program. And this money would now help us bring on better equipment for our kids. To be honest, I've been playing baseball 51 years. And the same fields that our kids play on right now are the same fields that I played on 51 years ago. And so we want to not only help bring on new equipment, but also upgrade the conditions that the kids are playing in, along with giving them opportunities. We have quite a number of other organizations that work with us, and we just want to continue to grow, help the community, help the kids, and bring on that sense of community that we had when we were young. I literally can say that the people that are in my life today have been in my life over 50 years. And that is a blessing, and we want to bring that same impact to our children today.
How many children participate in your program annually?
Last year, we finished with 198.
And what neighborhoods or communities do they reside in?
So currently, we play at Carouge Park. Kids come from all over Cuyahoga County. The biggest being in the Lee Harvard area. And that's kind of where the league is focused at. But we don't turn down any kid coming from anywhere.
Is Carouge off of Lee?
480
near
and Lee
Maple
Road.
High? Yeah, okay. Just trying to make sure I had it in my
480 and
head.
Lee Road, right at the corner there.
Boys and girls or just boys?
No, boys and girls. Eventually, we want to bring on a all-girls softball league, but we just don't have enough to fill in the gaps right now. So what we're doing is just including the girls involved. And believe it or not, some of them are better than the boys.
Yes, I believe that.
So it's a fun thing.
Do either of my colleagues have questions?
And forgive me if I missed it, but where, is it in Lee Harvard area where you actually play?
Yeah, we play in Carews Park. We play at Carews Park. B-Bus started in the Lee Harvard area, so we didn't want to go outside of that, and that's kind of where it started at Charles Elliott. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, where John
I'm
F.
trying to
Kennedy
picture
High School
Carews
is.
Park. I recognize
So
the
you
name.
know there's a
What street
Seventh-day
is it on?
Adventist church at the corner
Right.
of Lee and,
Parkington.
and then you go in a block and a half.
Residential.
It goes beyond the residential, and then you see the parking lot first. And they've done some redevelopment back there. It's in better shape than it was.
Yeah, and actually, that's I neglected to say that that's part of B-Buzz's vision for the future, is because we want to improve those conditions, and so we're working with not only the Cleveland Guardians but hopefully Major League Baseball as partners to help reconstruct that whole park. Baseball wise, they just finished the swimming pool, or should I say the tennis courts, the basketball courts, and the diamonds need some work. And so
Where are the diamonds? Are
they're
they?
behind the pool, so a lot of people
Okay.
don't see
So
them.
I couldn't
There's
see
one
them.
diamond when you first come up on Tarkington, and that's a larger field. It's more so for high school kids. Our kids play behind the pool. Our T-ball kids are playing on grass. They don't even have dirt. And so that's kind of what we want to do with not only the money for the equipment, but also want to at least make those two fields where we can dig out baselines so the kids can have some type of structure. But we're working on really restructuring that whole park. I presented Ms. Turner with our presentation with the whole layout of what we're trying to do and the budget and everything that we're working with. So hopefully in a couple of years, we'll get approval from the city. I actually have a meeting with the mayor's capital planning committee for Carews Park next month, or this month actually, on the 21st. And hopefully we'll get to adopt part of Carews Park, and then we'll be able to go in with funding and actually reconstruct the whole park, or at least the baseball part of it.
How do you identify the children that are part of the league?
So we are offered to go inside the schools. So we're able to go in Moses Cleveland, Adlai Stevenson, Citizens Academy, John F. Kennedy, Whitney Young. And then we do a lot of street signs that are all over the neighborhood throughout the registration platform time. But we're allowed to go into the schools, and we take over the rec class. A lot of times the younger kids have rec classes. And so half are going to lunch, half are going to rec. And so we're in the gym letting them hit off the tee, giving them an idea. And then once they finish, we give them a flyer. Hopefully they take it home and mom signs them up. We also work with foster care kids. So we've worked with quite a number of agencies to help get them in. And we offer a really good discount for the foster care kids. They get 50% off. And so it's a really good opportunity for them to bring on. And we've had quite a number of foster kids join our program.
What does it cost to
It's
participate?
$75. And that really just covers the cost of the uniform. Our uniform, they get a brand new uniform every year, and the uniform is $63 a piece. So basically, we just cover the cost of the uniform, the parents do.
How long does a child, Madam Chair,
Go.
how long does a child, how many years does a child get to be in the league?
Our kids are we start at 4 years old, and we go all the way up to 16. We're actually looking to, some of our older kids have grown and now are in that 16, 17, 18 range and so they're aging out. But if we get enough, we'll start a 16, 17-year-old league as well. So we try to catch them young and bring them all the way through the program.
How long has B-Buzz been in existence?
B-Buzz started in 1958. I started in 1973. And currently, in the 80s, it kind of died down, and it disappeared for a while. And then in 2013, Virgil Pittman and I decided to bring it back, and we just knew what it had gave us as kids. I always say baseball is not just a stick and a ball. It teaches you discipline, sportsmanship, teamwork, patience, tolerance, all the things that we deal with in life. We learned on a baseball diamond and didn't know we were learning it until we actually had to put it to use. And so it just really became something that's been passionate for me. Again, I've been playing since I was 9 years old, haven't missed a summer yet. And I continue to play, and it's just something that I really enjoy. And I pass it along to my granddaughter. We actually were at the Guardians game Saturday, and she had a ball.
Just
you.
out of curiosity, how old is your granddaughter?
She's 5.
So
No,
this
I'm
is-
sorry, 8. What am I thinking? She's 8. I
This
have
is-
another one that's 5. But she actually played. She plays in the league. She's in T-ball. She loves it, and she enjoys the game. And she's got to meet a lot of professional players because, again, we work with the Guardians closely. Kenny Lofton, of course, is her favorite player. She's got to meet him several times. Every time we see a jersey, she tells me to take a picture and send it to him. So, but like I said, the baseball to me is just something that has been a very deep-rooted factor in my life. And I know what it has done for me, and I know how it has created guidance for me. And so we look to bring that on to the other kids.
From an educational perspective, there are those of us who believe that sports like baseball help with math scores and skills. And so this is, I applaud Councilwoman Turner for providing support to you, because anything that helps with educational skills, the ability to stick with it when it seems that you're not learning what you wanted, and
Right.
there's nothing better than the fact that you have to teach your muscles to do what you need for them to do
Exactly.
in baseball, and people have a stronger commitment to sports, but they can do that repetitive nature, but learning is just that way, and especially math. The repetition of the multiplication tables, the addition, all those kinds of things are easier skills to develop because of involvement in sports like baseball. So thank you.
Thank you.
For your commitment to this.
And that's kind of why we took it to the next level and bring out other resources. We knew we were limited to what we could do baseball-wise, but we knew we also needed to bring on those resources. And so we do have tutoring, we do have reading programs, we do have educational programs. Don't think you're just coming here in the summer and go hang out all day. You're going to do some work. You know, all the kids have to present a book report before the season's over with. We give them books at the beginning of the day. We're partners with the Kids Book Bank. And so at the beginning of every season, kids get books. And by the end of the season, we do a mid-season check-in, see where they are, if they need help, if they need somebody to guide them. We bring the parents involved. And then at the end of the year, they all have to turn in a report.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other comments from my colleagues? A motion, please?
Make a motion that we move this to the full council.
Is there a second? Is there any other conversation? Hearing no other conversation, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no oppositions. Mr. Fields, you will see this move forward to the body of council. As I said just a minute ago, this needs 3 readings. So as you leave, staff will explain to you our process and then tell you what next steps you might have to take. Is there anything else, Madam Clerk?
We do have an additional item.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Resolution 2024-0347, amending the award made pursuant to Resolution 2022-0170 to authorize the City of Richmond Heights to use the remaining balance of $87,500 for the purpose of the Greenwood Farm Gazebo Project from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
And do we have someone representing the City of Richmond Heights? Good morning. If
Good
you will
morning.
identify yourself and your position with the city. Thank
My
you.
name is Rachel Gardner. I work with the City of Richmond Heights in the Economic and Community Development Department. Initially, the city requested $100,000 of ARPA funding for the renovation of the porch of our historic farmhouse. After a feasibility study, the the price was outrageous to fix it. The revisions would include fixing a roof that carries the weight of a ballroom on top of pillars, and we opened up a can of worms. We then wanted to pivot to another part of the park, which we are building a gazebo on, which is adjacent to the farmhouse. It's already in motion. We've already secured funding for the other portions of the gazebo, and that was why we needed to pivot quickly.
I have a question. Well, what are you going to do with the farmhouse?
The farmhouse is actually, after the feasibility study, we're going to try to raise some capitals to improve the rest of the site first. Right now, it's kind of quarantined because of lead paint. We're also working with the nonprofit that is co-running the place, which is Greenwood Farms Board. So once we get a general idea of what exactly they're proposing as far as what they want to do with the facility and what the city wants to do with the facility as well, we want to come to a happy medium, but we also want to make this place available for the public. It's a gorgeous piece of property. It sits on 15 acres and it butts up to the Euclid Creek. There are lots of trails and hiking paths, and we were building a gazebo for the community to host art shows, picnics, our fall fun fest, everything else that we actually adore that property. So we just kind of want to keep our forward motion going.
Okay. Questions by my colleagues?
Is the sponsor aware of this?
Yes, they are.
Who is that? Is Sunny Simon?
Yes.
Okay.
No questions.
No questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to move this forward?
I'll make a motion that we move this to the full council with the recommendation for passage.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, this moves forward to the full council. As I stated a few minutes ago, please talk with staff on your way out, and you'll be informed of the balance of the procedures.
Thank you. Have a
Good
great day.
luck.
And Madam Chair, for the record, that was for second, the motion was for second reading.
Okay.
Thank you.
With that, we move on to miscellaneous business. I understand we have a piece of information from the administration, from the Housing Department. Let's see. Director, if you would approach the podium and identify yourself. There's at least a two-sheet presentation. It is the HUD 2024 Pro Housing application that you'd like to talk to us about.
Yes, ma'am. Sarah Parks Jackson, Department of Housing and Community Development. Thank you for giving me the opportunity today to give you some information about an application we intend to submit to HUD next week. On August 13th, HUD released a funding opportunity of round 2 of their Pathways to Removing Obstacles to Housing funding application. This will be our second application. Last year we submitted for $10 million. And when we had our debrief, apparently we missed it by 4 points because we didn't have leverage. So this year, HUD has reduced the maximum to $7 million. And we are pledging $1 million of the housing fund for leverage because I was really bummed out to get 0 points. I've never gotten 0 on anything, so it really was a problem. So what HUD does is they designate priority geographies, and the priority geographies are those that they have deemed don't have enough affordable housing. So Cuyahoga County has 17. When we looked at the map, there's a cluster of 6 on what I call the southeast quadrant of the county. So we decided we would target those 6 along with the surrounding communities for a total of 10. And Madam Chairman, I did include Cleveland Heights south of Lee, as you suggested. So we have Beechwood and, of course, Cleveland Heights, Highland Hills. Beechwood is a priority geography. Highland Hills, North Randall is a priority geography. Orange, Pepper Pike, and Shaker are priority geographies. University Heights, Warrensville Heights, and the village of Woodmere is a priority geography. When I looked at the map and I saw the cluster, I thought, okay, this is where we can put focus. However, Cuyahoga County itself is a priority geography. So if a really good project presents itself in another area, if funded, we certainly could look at that. We are basing this application on being able to do 4 things. And basically, all of them are to increase or retain affordable housing. And so we're looking at multifamily and single-family developer gap financing. So for the multifamily, we have an estimate of like 1.5 million would be needed to fill the gap to ensure affordability. For the single-family housing, we're estimating 225,000 to ensure affordability. 25,000 of that would be down payment assistance to the homeowners. We're also looking at providing zoning changes through the Planning Commission and master plan updates, because that is one of the obstacles or the barriers to affordable housing sometimes is the zoning or the lack of the master plan along with the zoning having been updated. So we will be doing that as well, should we be granted the $7 million. So looking at the HUD regulations, we can't exceed 100% of the area median income. So for example, for a family of 4, that would be $97,200. And the HUD limit on the sale price of the house would be $294,000. So we've got some leeway in there. I've talked to the land bank, I've talked to CHN, and that's how we came up with the gap financing numbers based on some information they gave me on previous projects. And hopefully, HUD will like our project significantly, and this round provide us with $7 million to increase affordable housing in Cuyahoga County.
I think this is another great opportunity for us to work on providing affordable housing. Some of the neighborhoods as you know from our discussion in advance of this meeting, I was surprised at the focus by HUD on them. But any place that we can make housing more affordable for families is incredibly important to me personally. And I know that my council colleagues are supportive of making sure that more families own their own home as a priority for Cuyahoga County. Mr. President, any questions or comments?
Yes, I do. Obviously, I certainly support affordable housing, but I was just looking at it and I was thinking, this is all in the outer ring suburbs, and they'll be building infill homes, right, new homes, and maybe rehabbing of others. What is the guideline for affordable? I guess when I think of, probably just because my district is probably one of the poorest districts, when I think affordable, I'm thinking affordable in my own area. What makes a $294,000 house affordable housing? Maybe that's the question I'm really
That's
asking.
the current HUD guideline for the sales price. We cannot exceed
Not exceed
$294,000 and a sales price for affordability. And what HUD did with this program last year and this year is they look at areas like the city of Cleveland, which they feel are already concentrated with affordable housing. That's HUD. And they say these areas that they made priority geographies are not. For example, Hunting Valley and Moreland Hills are also priority geographies, but we know that we're not going to be able to do a house in those communities that is $294,000 or less, just because of the median sales price in those communities. So when we looked at the areas that they had given us and we saw that cluster of the 6 priorities, and I will tell you that Orange Village has said, we will partner with you on this. Woodmere has said, we will partner with you on this. Shaker Heights has said, we will partner with you on this. And we have those letters from them saying that they want to be a part of the program. And
And
So-
and
so are
if
you-
I might, Mr. President, one of the things that we're seeing in the housing industry is that there's some shifting of where job placement is. And so, for example, Hillcrest Hospital, when the 3 of us that are members of council were a bit younger, was just a small, mid-sized hospital. It has now gone through like 3 expansions and is much larger. And then there are the ancillary facilities right along the the interstate around 270, where both UH and Cleveland Clinic have additional facilities. And there are serious skill jobs. Some of them are starting jobs. Some of them are, the salaries are just in the affordable range. And we need to have housing opportunities that are closer to people's base of employment now. So with that shifting, what we need to do is encourage and find, even if it's just a few opportunities for some of the families whose jobs have moved further east, to find home ownership that they can afford. And so this is one of the reasons that Director Jackson and I were excited about this opportunity, because with this shift in the employment base, we need to make sure that there's some shift in affordable housing.
So I get that. You have to have housing, you want to have housing near where the companies are, okay? So if you're, let's say Beechwood, and you build a house there, I mean, a house in East Cleveland, or east side of Cleveland, or somewhere, or just Cleveland proper, you build the same house out in Highland, or, Huntington, or Beechwood, that same house is gonna cost a lot more, right? I guess what I'm really saying is the 294,000 HUD guideline. Can you build a house for 294,000? And what does it look like?
Councilman,
Targeted areas.
from my understanding from both CHN and the Land Bank and others, the construction cost now is still extremely high. So whether you build a house in East Cleveland or whether you build a house
Still gonna
in
cost
Shaker,
more than $290.
it's $400,000 is what they're telling me roughly. So that's where we got, okay, if we write it down, if with this money, if we are able to write down 200,000 of that construction cost to bring it to an affordable sales point, then we do that. The other thing that we looked at, to the chairman's point, is that I have argued for years that I felt housing was economic development, and I had people that argued with me that it wasn't. And now that sentiment is changing, because when you want to bring companies into a community, they're not just looking at the place where their business will be located. They're looking at where they're going to live and where their staff is going to live and where they can garner employees that don't have to get 2 or 3 buses to get to work. So this 271 corridor that has a lot of small business, medium-sized businesses, and some large businesses, including the medical institutions that are around there, make it a good location to say, this is where we'll target. And then those communities that aren't priority geographies, because the entire county is, we're still able to provide assistance to them. The 7 million sounds like a lot, but it's really, my estimate is we might get
How many houses do you think you'll
17,
be able to build?
maybe 17.
17.
And that's, I estimated 2 multifamily structures, 50 units each, and about 17 single-family houses, and that's with $7 million. So it's another drop in the bucket, but it takes us a step further into, one, the home ownership and the wealth gap for some in our community. And then the rental piece helps with those who, some people don't want to own a house, some people aren't ready to own a house. But that affordable rental will be of assistance to folks as they grow and maybe then learn to or want to purchase a house down the road.
So these will all be rentals?
The multifamilies will be rentals. The single families will be for sale. That's our effort to increase home ownership and then also to provide rental housing.
Have you identified the developers who will own the rentals?
No, we've talked to, again, we talked to CHN just because I know they do a lot of the multifamily in the area.
The name again?
CHN Housing Partners.
Cleveland Housing Network, got you.
And I also talked to Land Bank because Land Bank had already done some infill housing in Shaker and in Warrensville Heights. So I had a conversation with Dennis Roberts a couple of times about what does the infill housing look like? Even if they're doing the modular piece, where it's built in Pennsylvania because there's no plant here yet, and then the house is brought in here, we're still looking at $300,000 or $400,000 because of the transportation cost from the plant in, I believe it's either Pennsylvania, Indiana, or both, where the modular housings are built. To bring that structure here and then to get the equipment for the crane to put it in place and all of that has an increased cost to it.
I went out to a tour facility on the other side of Maslin. Are they no longer in business? I think it
Have
was
to check.
Tober that was doing it.
The seminars and workshops that I've been to where folks were doing the modular, they were going outside the state of Ohio.
I did in the last 5 years go to a facility in Ohio. So we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, I'll find out too.
Okay.
Madam Chair, how do you identify the individuals who will be for the for sale properties?
For the for sale properties, we're probably going to work with the cities and with the developer to ensure that that person meets the income requirements because it is federal funding. So we will have to look at getting all of the eligibility requirements met. We've got organizations out there that know how to do it, and some that don't. So we would work with them to ensure that they were matched up, and then we follow up by looking at their documentation to make sure it's accurate.
Do they engage the companies that are in the area of the for sale properties?
Will the developers engage the companies?
Whoever,
We'll probably have the cities do that.
cities.
We'll rely on our mayors and our councils. Once awarded the dollars, it's like, okay, here we are, here we go. We would do an RFP for the houses to see who could look at the land that's available. We have some communities that have available land that they can just contribute and others that don't, so we have to talk about what does that look like when the city can donate the land? Does that bring the price point down? So instead of needing a $200,000 gap, they maybe only need $100,000 in gap financing. So all of those things will come into play as we move forward. For the multifamily, we would just do our standard request for proposals with identified geographics.
Okay, thank you.
I just got a text from Cynthia. She refreshes my memory by telling me it's Lexington Quality Homes I went to visit. So there is still a facility in the Maslin area. You and I will have to talk about that. Because of course it's a easier journey. I think it was 30 minutes from my office in Akron. Okay. Other questions, Mr. Gallagher? Hearing no other questions, can I have we don't need a motion, this is just advisory.
Yes.
Thank you for advising us formally on this, getting it out into the public with this hearing. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the committee?
No, thank you for allowing me to make the presentation today.
As you know, I always encourage you to find other people's money to help Cuyahoga County do what it wants and needs to do. Thank you for continuing to pursue that. Madam Clerk, is there anything else we need to pay attention to?
There is no other business today, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Hearing that, this meeting is adjourned.